Rihanna, Tyler the Creator, Kanye West, Childish Gambino, Issa Rae. What do these 5 people have in common? Don't say that they're black. Don't say it. I mean, you would be right, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. It's in the title. Answer is that they're multi-hyphenates. Yes, thank you. Person in the back left corner. You got it right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They are all multi-hyphenates. They've got mile-long resumes. Their schedules must be insane. Jesus. Yeezus. Oh, get it? Because I was talking about Kanye West. Okay. Take Rihanna, for example. She makes music. She's been seen going to the studio. So I'm gonna say she makes. She doesn't release music, but she makes music. Unless she was going to the studio to visit ASAP. Lingerie, perfume, makeup, a child. She's so busy. When does she sleep? All in all, you know, all these people, multiple businesses, multiple creative endeavors across multiple industries, multi-hyphenate. Now, what exactly is a modern multi-hyphenate? I'm gonna tell you. It's in the title. We're living in a world where I can go on TikTok right now and I can find several people making rugs by hand. There are people who can crochet looks head to toe. Crochet! Have you seen a crochet head to toe look? You probably have on TikTok, on Instagram. Beyond investing some money to, you know, get supplies to make things, knowledge is free. Most of us have smartphones. As time goes on, there's less and less excuses to not do things because the knowledge is just, it's just free. It's just on the internet. Unless you're doing open heart surgery, you can basically be anything you want to be in this world. Okay, is this The Patient? Bro, can you put on that Megan Thee Stallion album? You know I can't do surgery without Megan Thee Stallion playing. Yeah, I got the video pulled up. I got the video pulled up right here. She said you're supposed to move the artery to the left. And then you're supposed to take it back now, y'all. 1 hop this time. 2 hop this time. Alright, that being said, the purpose of this video is to get into some traits of the modern multi-hyphenate.
When I had my accident, I found out at that moment, nothing in life is promised except death. If you have the opportunity to play this game of life, you need to appreciate every moment. A lot of people don't appreciate their moment until it's past.
These are people who save their most personal stories for the art. They put it into their artwork, or they use their artwork as a jumping off point to eventually expand more and talk more about their personal lives. What does that mean? I'm gonna explain. Now, Kanye West has a song called Through the Wire, which was recorded in 2002 after his infamous car accident. In the song, he raps through his jaw, which has been wired shut. And this is a perfect example of being a storyteller through your work. Now, obviously with rap, it's a little obvious, the storytelling element, because you got lyrics, you have the music video, you have the production, but this can even be seen with tangible products. For example, let's start with Rihanna, right? Now, Rihanna, she did Fenty Beauty, and part of her love of beauty came from seeing her mother wear makeup and things of that nature. Now, instead of Rihanna just, you know, tweeting, just tweeting, here's a picture of my mom doing her makeup, I don't know, you know, whatever. She put that into the work that inspired her, that made her want to get into the beauty industry. And now I own several of these. I bought these in quarantine. Why the hell did I buy lip products in quarantine? Ask me how often I use these. Not often. Not often, but I bought it because Rihanna told me to buy it. When we receive a Fenty Beauty product, we have bought into Rihanna's life. We have bought into Rihanna's history. We own a part of Rihanna. That was less creepy in my head. So, but you get what I'm saying. Then we have someone like Tyler, the Creator, whose most recent album, Call Me If You Get Lost, On there, he talks about his love of traveling and how traveling expanded his mind. So if you listen to that album and then you go watch an interview that he did post that album, at least, I don't know if he was talking about this pre-album, but post-album, he expanded on it. He said, okay, you know, I grew up in California. I didn't really get a chance to leave my state, my city, my town, what have you. And then traveling opened my eyes and it changed the way I approached music. And so now it's like a jumping off point for people to ask him about that. You're living your life offline, doing your thing. You're not sharing it 100%. And then when we get the art, we learn more about it. We buy into who you are because the brand is strong if you're a celebrity. And you know what else? We live in a society. We live in a world where, you know, you may feel like you always gotta be grinding. But it's like, hello, if you actually experiencing life pours into the work that you're doing in that 9 to 5 or, you know, in your creative endeavors. So it's good that you're not just grinding. It's good to actually live life because then you can pour that back into the work. If Tyler, the creator, just sat in his little studio, no days off, work. You see me happy, work. If that was his attitude, we would not have gotten the most recent project that we got. He would have made something else.
I think most people are afraid. They're afraid to do, like, I'm not saying everybody's an artist or creative, but everybody has something that they find joy in figuring it out, or like they find joy in the way they do it. But people gotta eat, you know, it's scary to do that.
Young children generally have a more open approach to life because they haven't learned what is socially considered normal and what is not. They haven't been conditioned to understand what good socially acceptable art is and the opposite of that. So they're more willing to make stuff with no regards to consequences or what people are going to think about them. As adults, we're more conscious about what other people think of us. When little kids draw stick figures, we're not sitting here going, hey little Timmy, this stick figure drawing is asinine, immature, and a clear ripoff of more sophisticated artists, you fraud. Shout out to you if your name is Timmy. No, we say good job little Timmy and we hang that up on our fridge with a little fruit magnet. That's how we gotta approach our stuff. You know, sometimes I talk to myself like I'm a toddler. Goo goo gaga, sweetie. Will we be having the mushed peas today or the mushed carrots? And I just go ahead and I hang my little stick figure drawing up on my metaphoric or real life fridge and I just go ahead and keep it moving. The modern multi-hyphenate, they keep things secret. They don't tell nobody. At least they don't tell the public what they're doing. Okay. We feel like we have to tell people our business, but we really don't. There's this interview Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, did on the Mark Maron podcast, WTF with Mark Maron. Anyways, in this interview, Donald basically says that he was doing music for 8 years before he decided to go public as Childish Gambino. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna let that percolate. I'm gonna let that sink into your system. 8 years. You know what? Multi-hyphen in private. Especially if you're kind of insecure about your art, your creativity, the things you're interested in. Nobody has to know you make ugly rugs. Nobody has to know that you write off-brand Dr. Seuss poems. Just you, okay? Or only tell one person that you trust. Me, for example. Sometimes when I make stuff, I send it to my sibling. I'm like, hey sibling, let me know if this video was funny. Do you think I need to take out that weird joke at the end about how I own a piece of Rihanna because I bought a lip gloss? Do you think that's creepy? Should I take that out? Because this kid, he can't stop talking to me. You know what I mean? I see you all the time. I have your number. I know where you live. Like, I've seen you in diapers. I could get your social security number. I could call mom right now. You know what I'm saying? I could get your personal bit. So if you only want to tell people you trust, that you know they're not gonna like ostracize me because I make pottery, I don't know, it's an example, then that's what you gotta do. Don't tell anybody, or just tell the people you trust.
My whole life I felt like a stepchild in school, at home. and especially in music and rap where I have a profession. Ninth grade, they wouldn't let me join band class because I couldn't read music, but I still had the passion, and I'm on 2 instruments now, picking up a 3rd. But when all that happened, I said, fuck them. I didn't let none of that shit stop me from doing anything that I wanted to do. I feel like we're all free and we create from this honest place, this really honest space where we don't give a fuck where no one says. And because of that, that's why I always felt like a stepchild.
The things that make you different or weird can end up being seen as strengths by others later on in life. You just have yet to find your audience, or you have found your audience, but they are not at the point yet where they can understand what you're doing. We just got to give them a little more time. I was watching this Tyler, the Creator interview, and he said this. He said instant gratification is not always good. Now, he brought that up because Cherry Bomb, one of his previous albums, people weren't really feeling it when he put it out. And then later on, when he put out the instrumentals from that album, people started to see his vision. People started to come up to him, compliment, you know, some of the instrumentals on the project. So sometimes the things you make is not gonna resonate with people at that moment. Music is always changing. There's all these different trends, even in like interior design, right? Like in interior design, the girls are loving velvet couches. They love a green couch right now. So that's trendy. If you put that on Pinterest, maybe you'll get a lot of pins. But maybe you're not about that life. You're not about that green couch life. You're into wooden couches. Isn't a wooden couch just a bench? I don't even know what that means. You're into wooden couches. You put that on Pinterest, nobody likes it. Nobody pins it. It's dry on your Pinterest. It's dusty on your Pinterest. And 2 years from now, wooden couches are all the rage. And honey, you are the Pinterest queen. You are the Pinterest. What's a P word? What's a P word?
Princess.
What's a P word? The Pinterest police. No, wrong word. The Pinterest. I gave you a word. Person. I don't know. You knew, you in your heart of hearts, you said, I love wooden couches, and other people don't get it. But that's what I wanted, zoo. The stuff you make is not always going to resonate with people. There was an interview, Issa Rae, Donald Glover, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Damien, Chazelle. They talked about there is a rush to build hype around something, right? Like a TV show. There's a rush to build hype around it and to say things like, this is the greatest TV show ever, or this is the worst TV show ever. These extreme opinions about everything. But what about the in-between though? What about the in-between though? You don't have to make the Mona Lisa every time. It took a lot of stick figures from Leonardo da Vinci. Don't ask me how I knew that. I'm sure he made tons of stick figures before he did the Mona Lisa. I'm picturing right now an old white man using ink and making some stick figures. If that's what it takes to get to the Mona Lisa, then that's what it takes to get to the Mona Lisa. Seek progress, not perfection.
When you're like, you know, older lady and you're about to retire, it's like, what is it the thing you want to do?
Remember it as Rihanna. Remember it as being the artist from the Caribbean who came here and made it internationally. Just remember it as me. Because I'm true to my music, and I just want people to realize that and appreciate me for that.
When multi-hyphenates incorporate aspects of themselves into their work, it makes their work more unique, and it also makes it more marketable to their audience. It's important as a modern multi-hyphenate to understand that originality does not exist, pretty much. I mean, mostly. Because oftentimes, you know, when you're a creative person, you can feel like your ideas aren't good enough. They're not original enough. Girl, nobody's ideas are original. You think Rihanna invented makeup? You think Rihanna invented lingerie? Being a celebrity with a makeup line, not original. Rihanna being the celebrity that does the makeup line? Ho ho, wait a minute now. That's different. See, now I'm interested because Rihanna, you know, she has her own personal experiences that she brings to the table, certain things she wants to accomplish with the line, with the inclusivity of the shades and doing this, that, and the third that maybe other brands aren't doing, right? Or not pushing as much. Because other brands, there were other brands that were doing, had inclusive shades. But when Fenty Beauty came out, these other brands was like, oh, melanated people wear makeup? Wait a minute. Melanated people want to be, they want to look good? They wear makeup? I didn't know they wanted that. I didn't know they wanted a foundation that matched them perfectly. Why didn't they say something? It was like a combination of right person, right place, right time. The time she made the thing, it was the person who had the idea, and boom.
In conclusion, entrepreneur till I die, I deserve this. Bye.
Confidence, baby. All right, this is where we talk about Kanye. This man calls himself Yeezus, as in Jesus, as in Christ. Your belief in yourself has to be so strong that if other people do not support you, you still keep going. That's really it, because listen, look at me. My father is from Ghana. I had the type of father who was like, so you're gonna be an engineer, right? So, or it was like, if I don't become an engineer or a doctor, those were my career options. I didn't do either of those things. Okay, the man was disappointed, but guess what? Confidence. I was like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it with this marketing degree. And now here I am on YouTube. Kanye Omari West once said, coulda let these dream killers kill my self-esteem or use the arrogance as esteem to power my dream. The plural, because he's a multi-hyphenate. There was an interview Tyler the Creator did. He was asked the question, a lot of times black people, they get put into a box creatively. How do you navigate that? Paraphrasing, he basically said, maybe they make slave movies because that's what they think we want. So we just have to do our thing and show them that we're looking forward. We're not looking backward. Not to say that those slave movies are not needed or worth anything, but that's not all we bring to the table. That's not all we want to consume and create. We have other stories to tell. So if you let what's popular, what's mainstream, what society says dictate what you want to add onto your hyphen, baby, you're gonna live a sad life. If you're waiting for permission to do something, you're not gonna get it.
That was me for a long time, of just like, I don't have the money, I'm in debt, I don't have the time, and nobody's checking for me and all those things. And then I had to be like, oh, what do I have? I have a camera, I have friends, I have a location, I have all these other things. So what can I make happen? How can I use the things that I do have to make something happen?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the concept of the bare maximum. Steve Lacy, who is a music artist, did this TED Talk a few years ago that I watched a few years ago and I still think about to this day. And it's called the bare maximum. By the way, if you don't listen to his music, what are you doing? But anyways, in this video, he talks about how when he was younger, he really wanted a MacBook because all the creative people in his life, they had MacBooks. So he felt like, you know, that's the machine to get. That's what you need to really get you going. So every Christmas he would want this and he would never get it. He never got the MacBook Pro. But what he did get was an iPhone Touch. Do y'all remember when people used to call iPhone Touches iTouch? Like when it first came out, people would accidentally call it the iTouch. By people, I mean me. I'm people. Anyway, so he used his iPhone Touch to produce music. He co-produced an album partially using an iPod Touch, or maybe completely using the iPod Touch, that got nominated for a Grammy. Point of the TED Talk is like, you just gotta use what you have. That's the bare maximum. Is there like the bare minimum? Is the bare maximum? Clever. It's almost like he's a Grammy nominated artist. It's almost like, wow. Really good example of this is Issa Rae. Because Issa Rae, when she started, when she like blew up and got famous, it was on a web series she did called Awkward Black Girl. Now she was saying in this interview I watched that at the time she was trying to get into the industry the traditional way through like submitting scripts and this, that, and the third, and she was getting no's. They weren't letting her in the door. So what she did was, y'all not gonna give me a seat at the table? I'ma build my own table. And guess what? The materials that I built this table out of, it's not giving HBO level yet. It's not giving HBO level yet. It's giving, I used what I had. So she just used what she had and she made the best of it and it paid off for her. And sometimes, you know, I see this with people I know personally. If you're watching this and you feel like I'm talking about you and you know me personally, you feel like I'm talking about you, I probably am. People, and I do this too, they do this thing where they just want to think about it. They get stuck in the thinking stage and they don't go into the doing stage because they're like, well, I don't have this and I don't have this and I have to do this first and I have to do this first and I don't have this. You don't need it though. This has been a video on the modern multi-hyphenate, traits of the modern multi-hyphenate. They're just out here building resumes as long as the eye can see. One of my favorite pastimes is to watch interviews of people because I'm nosy. Because I'm nosy and I'm a student of the world. I'm a student of the world. And so I took the time to watch some interviews of some of the people I've just some creatives, some multi-hyphenates. Period.